My name is Naruto Uchiha, and I will be the one that avenges my clan. Believe it!
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Neon Pow here, and this week we're doing the finale to What If Naruto Was an Uchiha. That meaning you have not somehow seen the previous parts, I highly recommend you do so, and I have that linked in the description and in the card above. Also, I have updated the membership for the channel, so if you guys want to support me even more, I got some cool perks added there, such as shout out on future videos, so make sure to check that out and see what's up. Also guys, 85% of you are still not subscribed that are watching, so if you're not subscribed, make sure to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell to stay up to date with the juicy what ifs. Also, for this video, we're gonna be doing 500 likes just as before, so let's see you beast kill that out of the water. Now, let's go ahead and get right into the video. In the last episode of Naruto Uchiha, Black Zetsu took a hold over Tobi's dying body and forced them to use Rinne Rebirth to revive the almighty Madara Uchiha. While it did take him some time to resurrect and arrive at the battlefield from his tomb, he started off by immediately causing chaos. Our poor boy Neji, who had just arrived on scene with Guy and Tenten, was instantly crushed by Susanoo as he was trying to assist Sasuke. Everyone is horrified by the instant destruction caused by Madara, but no one is surprised by Neji's death. Will Naruto be able to make it in time with his newly formed team to assist the others? Let's find out. With Tobi now dead, Black Zetsu quickly creeps over to Madara. He not only updates him on the current situation, but also provides him with the Rinnegan used by Tobi and the spare Rinnegan they had stashed. Within seconds, Madara turns from his already powerful being into an even more outrageously powerful foe. As everything is happening so fast and so unexpectedly, Sasuke's brain is getting fried. Currently, Sasuke is such a low threat to Madara that he doesn't even notice him. He is currently looking around to see which direction the Tin Tails went. Sasuke knows he can't let Madara escape as Lee and Sai already have their hands full fighting the Tin Tails, but he isn't able to move. However, as Sasuke is sitting there still, a slight cough and whisper can be heard from Kakashi-sensei that finally brings Sasuke back to reality. Sasuke looks down at his sensei as he struggles to get the words out. Kakashi gives Sasuke a glare of encouragement and tells him not to worry about him. He'll be able to push through. He wants Sasuke to stop worrying about the unpredictability. He knows being calculated creates the best probability for success, but sometimes Sasuke needs to be unpredictable like his brother Naruto. Just let your power roam free and protect the ones you love with all your might. He further states that if he doesn't have enough power to just rely on your friends and have fate without your twin brother Naruto will arrive on cue like always. Sasuke then chuckles a bit and thanks his sensei. He lays down Kakashi and gets up. He immediately turns into his ultimate Susanoo form. As Madara is getting ready to fly off, he unexpectedly gets body slammed by Sasuke and pushed into the ground. Madara slowly gets up, cracking his neck. He then tells Sasuke that it looks like the Uchiha brat has some fight in him. I guess you weren't just a helpless child after all. Then, he quickly roundhouse kicks Sasuke, making him fly back. Sasuke grabs the ground to stop his momentum, but as he looks up, Madara is already caught up to him. Sasuke quickly ducks Madara's punch and tries to counteract with a kick. To his surprise, Madara takes the blow and grabs his leg, pushing him to the ground, grappling him. Sasuke, now forcefully being held down, squirms to get out of the hold, but Madara's girth of power is just too large for Sasuke to handle at once. He is being overwhelmed. Sasuke is putting all his power to hold out, but it looks like this might be the end for him as he begins blacking out from the mass strain of pain of his entire body. As Sasuke is about to see darkness, he begins seeing a ray of white light appear in the pitch of black. He then begins to feel a nice warmth surrounding his body, and as he opens his eyes, all he sees is white. He then realizes he is nibbling on an unfamiliar red-headed girl, which immediately snaps him back to his senses. Naruto then casually just looks back at his brother and says, "It looks like you finally woke up. Can't believe I caught you sleeping on the job." As Sasuke is still dazed, Naruto introduces him to Karin and says there are two others that went over to help Lee and Sai with the monstrous beast. After Sasuke attempts to take all this info in, he then asks what happened to Madara. Naruto then casually looks forward and Sasuke does the same. He finally realizes where they are. They are inside Naruto's giant white Susanoo, and currently Naruto's wailing on Madara. Sasuke can't believe the same person that was destroying him ruthlessly a few minutes ago is now being put in his place by his twin brother. This of course is making Madara furious. Even though he would normally like a good fight, he wasn't expecting to be pushed so hard by a kid, and on top of that, he somehow has the Rinnegan? Sasuke then remembers Kakashi Sensei and immediately tells Naruto that they need to save him. He was on the brink of death. Sasuke points to his location. Naruto quickly sends Madara flying back and goes to Kakashi's last location. He sees him on the floor and sweeps him up. Madara noticed Naruto moving in the opposite direction, but instead of following after him in blind rage, he thinks it's time that he gets his plan into motion and begins heading over to the Ten Tails Beast. As this is occurring, Karin is able to help stabilize Kakashi. However, Naruto looks back expecting to counter Madara, but notices he's gone. Both Sasuke and Naruto realize that he must have gone to where Lee, Guy, Tenten, Sai, and the other two from Naruto's team are located. They immediately began rushing over as they knew their friends would be in trouble. Moving over to Lee, he is currently holding out his own quite well with the assistance of Sai against the Ten-Tailed Beast. He does, however, need to constantly have his 7th gate open to move fast enough to dodge the beast and hold it up, which is producing a lot of strain on his body. Once again, Lee is not using Kurama's power as 1, he doesn't want to rely on it, and 2, Kurama isn't bothered for a fight like this. Fortunately, Guy Sensei, Lee, Jugo, and Sugetsu arrive on the scene to provide some backup. Lee doesn't know the two new people, but he's glad to get some help fighting the behemoth. The group tells Lee that a new, much stronger enemy has arrived on the other battlefield. This of course makes Lee immediately jealous and complains why Naruto always gets the fun. Everyone but Guy just stares oddly at Lee that they can't believe he thinks these ridiculous battles are fun. Regardless, everyone comes together in the attempt to come up with a plan to destroy or at least stop the Ten Tails Beast rampage. As the group finally comes up with a plan, an unexpected guest appears. It is Madara with his giant Susanoo. He immediately brings a wave of fear to our group, which holds all of them in their place. All but Lee and Guy, who give each other a specific glare. Guy tells Lee to get ready, and Lee responds, "Right, Guy Sensei!" The two power up fully to the 7th gate and charge at Madara. As the two go for a combined explosive pincer attack, they just get swatted away to the distance by Madara. Madara then ignores the others and goes straight for the Ten Tails. His goal is to absorb it into himself. Lee is currently deep in some rubble. He begins hearing Kurama inside of him. The presence of a cursed Uchiha, especially that of Madara, has awakened the beast. He tells Lee that he needs to stop messing around and for them to get serious. He has fought against Madara many years back, and as much as he hates to admit it, he says he lost. They need to stop him now before he causes more damage. Lee is shocked to hear Kurama express himself so much. This really brings tears to the young taijutsu user's eyes. He then wipes them away and says, "Let's do this, best bud! Kurama friendship mode activated!" Kurama, with a long sigh, activates his chakra. Lee can now feel his stamina being replenished and his body healing as he is still in the 7th gate. It is crazy for him to think that he can exert so much power without much strain on his body in this form. The two now blast off towards Madara. Madara, believing he is able to absorb the Ten Tails without a problem, is quickly smacked down by Lee. This of course angers Uchiha, but before he can counter Lee, he is already back on him, smashing him with a fury of air punches and kicks. Madara is getting quite annoyed with Lee's constant barrages. He also understands that the wretched Rinnegan imposter will be here shortly to add on to the annoyance. Madara looks to see the stationary shinobi standing in the distance and plans to use them as bait. Madara quickly switches out of his Susanoo form at the last second, which catches Lee off guard, and he kicks Lee a few meters back. This gives Madara a chance to create meteors aimed at Sai, Guy, and the others. As Lee attempts to counter Madara again, Madara shakes his finger back to back, saying no no no, and points to the giant meteors heading towards his friends. Lee just grunts and goes quickly to save his friends. He powers up and says to Kurama this shouldn't be a problem. He uses a dynamic entry and smashes the meteor. Unfortunately, Lee was not paying attention to the other meteor above the previous one. He didn't have enough time to turn around and destroy it. Fortunately, in just the nick of time, Naruto pops up and slashes the second meteor. Everyone is relieved to finally see Naruto has arrived on scene. Lee goes to meet up with Naruto and is glad to see everyone is okay. Naruto then tells Lee that they should team up to finally bring a stop to Madara before he comes up with any new sly ideas. However, before Lee can utter a response, a giant explosion can be heard from Madara's direction. Everyone looks to see the Ten-Tailed Beast gone. Everyone is confused about what just happened. Then, as the smoke clears, they see a small white dot emerge. It looks to be Madara in a new odd transformation. Naruto and Lee are not too sure what Madara had done, but they are still confident that they can take him out together. The two charge at Madara, but before they can even get close to him, two other Madara spawn before them and knock them back. As the two get up, Lee asks what just happened. Naruto looks confused at Lee and asks how he didn't see the two Madaras before them. Lee then says he couldn't see them, but he could feel something's presence before them. Then they realize that they both have different ways of sensing these strange clones. Unfortunately, when they look back to Madara's direction, they could see and sense that there are 5 Madara clones. It looks like the two will have to do their best to get past these nuisances before moving onto the real Madara. While this is occurring, Madara finally is able to activate his infinite Tsukiyomi plan. He starts off by spawning the giant tree, rips off his headband, which reveals a Rinne Sharingan, and begins the mass genjutsu. As Naruto and Lee are attempting to fight the Limbo clones, they notice everything begins getting bright, even though it's the middle of the night. Naruto begins having a really bad gut feeling about this situation. He then quickly grabs Lee and activates his Susanoo. He looks to try to reach the others, but he won't make it in time. His friends are wrapped up by the bandages and taken towards the tree. After some time, the light from the jutsu finally dissipates. Madara, thinking he had put everyone under the jutsu, is annoyed to see that all the pests he was fighting are completely unharmed and hiding within their Susanoo. This surprisingly makes him furious. He is fed up with them and plans to end their lives the second they disarm the Susanoo. He turns one of his truth-seeking orbs into a long, thick black rod and grabs his shaft for good support. He is going to throw the rod at the unexpected Naruto and penetrate his heart. As the hero's Susanoo deactivates and Madara is about to attack, he gets penetrated from behind. He sees red blood dripping from his chest. He doesn't understand what happened, and once he looks back, he sees Black Zetsu. Naruto and Lee, once out of the Susanoo, looks to the sky to see Madara impaled by a dark figure. Black Zetsu, yelling over Madara's groaning, says he was the main villain all along and begins activating some technique that makes Madara's body expand. Everyone is just watching this horrific sight unravel. Then, after a bit of time, a large demonic-looking woman is formed from Madara's body. She releases some of her power, which destroys part of the mountain range like it was paper mache. Naruto is a bit terrified by the view. At this point, all hopes of winning the battle and saving everyone looks to be gone. Kaguya notices Naruto and begins approaching him. As she gets close, she looks to have a face of sorrow. Black Zetsu speaks up and tells Naruto that the reason Kaguya is sad is because he contains the chakra of her child Indra, and even a bit of Ashura's. However, Black Zetsu is aware of the real reincarnate of Ashura. However, when he looks to find him for his mother, he is nowhere to be found. Then, out from the distance, something can be heard. As the sound approaches closer, we hear, "Dynamic entry! Real Lee style!" This translates to Dragon Lee, and within the next few milliseconds, Lee smashes into the Kaguya's body, completely annihilating her body along with Black Zetsu in a flash, leaving no traces. Naruto is completely silent and shook after witnessing what just happened. He doesn't know what to say or do. Then, Naruto looks over to see Lee's body. It is smoking, but looks like he's still alive. Barely. As Naruto looks towards Lee, he feels some instincts that tell him how he can release the infinite Tsukiyomi. With his Rinne Sharingan and by touching Lee, he is able to deactivate the jutsu, saving everyone. Afterwards, with a lot of help from Karin, Lee is able to stabilize. Naruto asks him what he did. With Lee unable to properly explain, Kurama takes the wheel as it was his plan anyways. He starts from the beginning. Kurama, for a while now, never trusted or liked any of the Uchihas, especially Madara. However, he does say that Lee was the first real friend he had ever had. One day, he had a really bad premonition about his friend. And so, for the past years, while Lee refused to use his chakra, he would meditate and begin evolving a plan for this exact day. While Naruto was watching Madara's transformation, Kurama told Lee it was finally time to risk opening all 8 gates. Lee, knowing he could die, did not hesitate as he did completely trust in Kurama. The activation of the 8th gates in Kurama's friendship mode gave them so much power that it easily overwhelmed Kaguya. On top of that, Kurama extracted parts of other tailed beasts during the impact. saving what he could. With Lee's unwavering determination and Kurama's chakra, Lee was able to survive and win. The entire crew is astonished by all of this. Naruto is especially impressed. Surprisingly, after the entire battle was over, no one had died. Lee then asked about Neji. Naruto, with a shocked face, had not even realized their friend wasn't there. He feels that he had just enough chakra to revive him, fortunately. Once completed, everyone can thankfully see Neji get up from the distance. As he approaches everyone, he notices Lee on the floor and rushes over. However, from the stress, he doesn't watch his step and slips on Madara's rod, falling and breaking his neck, dying once again. All that can be heard is Lee saying, "No! They killed Neji!" and Tenten responding, "You bastards." And that's where we're leaving off the finale to this series. Now guys, I hope you enjoyed the journey, and make sure to smash the like button and support, as we could possibly see this continuing further. Up to you guys though. Now guys, I love that you came out to support me. Sorry about the delay, but the support you guys give me is amazing. I can't wait to talk to all you guys in the comments, and see you in the next video. Much love, Neon out.